Hello and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is Do, Ra, me, and today I will be reading Chapter 54 of Engagement in Peril by Dara Odoe Sup. Chapter 54 is titled Foreskin Removal Wager. In January of 1997, I decided to get myself circumcised because of a bet I had made with Marai, Martinez, and another guy from our clinic. Danny argued with his mother about him getting circumcised. She wouldn't let him get it done, but against his mom's demands and wishes, he had it done anyway. He was the first to get his foreskin chopped off, and about 10 days later, I got mine done as well. It was a pretty quick procedure. The urologist did my surgery during his lunch break. We had to make up a really good excuse about why we wanted to get the surgery done. I had told the urologist that it would be much easier for me to maintain and manage keeping it clean and such, especially when I am older. My poor excuse of keeping it sanitary and such got the urologist to agree to my request of getting my foreskin removed. I didn't even need a consult then to get the quick procedure done. Our wager didn't consist of any monetary means. It was just a friendly wager of bravery, ignorance, and stupidity then. After all, we all were young, ignorant sailors. I sometimes wondered what Shinshin would have thought of me then if he knew what the hell I was doing to my penis foreskin, especially over some insanely stupid bet that I and a few other sailors had made during our ignorant moments. So this is how the procedure went. What they did was numb me up locally on my genital with a 1% xylocaine, pulling back the foreskin with 3 pairs of clamp scissors, and then slitting it along the side. It opens up just like peeling a banana. Then surgically the doctor would use a scalpel to cut deeper into the surrounding tissues and skin. And after all the needed parts and excess skin were cut out and removed, the urologist then stitched me up with an absorbable material, catgut, to close the incision. The whole procedure took about 20 minutes or so, and I went back to work right after. I didn't have to, but I chose to. At work, I was all bleeding, dripping in my working blues while I stretched and reached for files and records since I was assigned to the record room that week. The whole time I was having my shaft mutilated and reattached, the other corpsmen who assisted in the procedure would crack up with cock jokes and such, getting me to laugh and bleed in the process. Afterward, I returned back to my clinic and was instructed to take it light on my duties. Not too much stretching or strenuous activity for a while, at least until my suture had healed and closed up. You were really bleeding that day, Dara, oozing gooey warm blood and was dripping down your legs, and you still went about your duties at the hematology oncology clinic. Such a dedicated, hardcore you were then. Whatever happened to that boy, Dara? And after work, I was placed on 48-hour SIQ, sick in quarters, sick leave, and light duty. It was the weekend anyway, and they gave me ammonia smelling salt to bring down my stiffness and hard-on whenever I should have those mischievous erection and thoughts, which I often do whenever I thought about Heather, Kelly, Beverly, Mary, and many other girls I was involved or hoped to be with. I haven't told Mother about my circumcision to this day. That night, I decided to put my white sheets and slept on the floor. The next morning I awoke, bloodstains were everywhere on and about my once white sheet. I managed to wash out the bloodstain with some bleach in the BEQ, Bachelor Enlisted Quarter, laundry room. Later that day, Hatch, who was a close friend of mine of Marai, found out that I had recently had surgery and was nice enough to bring me some chicken soup that his wife had made for me. It was so nice of Stephanie to think of me, of my well-being. What was funny about Marai's surgery was that he was warned not to use his penis for anything until the stitches was completely closed and healed. But Marai, being ignorant, and used it anyway. He had got laid by his female roommate one night, of which they didn't bother using protection. And his recent surgical penis got infected from the sex juice they had exchanged and also from saliva that was in her mouth from the blowjob she had given him then. So, with the infection, he had to go back to urology to clinic to have his irregular penis cleansed out, irrigated, and restitched. Once the Hemok had heard about his misfortune, we all had a good laugh at his expense. Since then, Marai never again touched his female roommate, no matter how much in the mood for sex he was. I remember several weeknight earlier when Stephanie and Hatch stayed over and used my bedroom in the BEQ. I had snuck them in through my side window. Since I live on the ground floor on the 3-story high building, they had used the unoccupied bed that I had in my room since I had no roommate then. They were having sex, basically fucking while I was sleeping. So they had thought. Although I wasn't asleep, I pretended so that I can hear them go at it like dogs. From their moaning and panting, I was getting an erection as well, and I was thinking I should get myself invited to have a threesome. But then again, they were married and I didn't want to intrude, so I just kept my mouth shut and enjoyed the sound of them fucking and moaning right there in my presence. That was enough for me to get off myself while I lay there in silence. Sometime when I feel like it and when it was the weekend, I would take the Greyhound bus from downtown San Diego and go to Long Beach to visit my mom and see my friend. While there, I usually hung out with Benevolence, my good friend from high school. She and I had gotten closer as we got to know each other more and more. We did the same old thing stuff, the same stuff, hanging out at her store, hanging out going to the movies, and patronizing shops and restaurants. Benevolence was mainly the person I hung out with most. Aaron had gone off to school at the University of Irvine, studying business supposedly, but it turned out he didn't major in anything. He had spent 5 years at Irvine and got a Bachelor of Art in General Education and General Studies. To think, I might have turned out like him since we both had the same scholarship offer back in our high school day to the same university back then, in the spring of graduation of 1995. But then again, I would have already been dead if I were to go to college right after high school, since I had that minor stroke at 19 years old. I was learning a lot in the hematology oncology clinic, how to perform multiple surgical procedures from bone marrow, paracentesis, lumbar puncture, thoracentesis, spinal taps, and even have given chemotherapy treatment to cancerous patients. I love where I work. I appreciate the patient, and in return, I was appreciated by those that I've treated and was involved with. That was the best part, knowing that you can help people to smile for another day or two. You were the man then, Dara. That's what everyone had thought of you at the hematology oncology clinic and in the internal medicine department then. So dedicated to the core you were. Whatever happened to that once good prince? I questioned my past accolades and my once sincere nature. Thank you for listening. This is the end of chapter 54. Be on the lookout for chapter 55, titled Volunteer Psych Evaluation.